Hi everyone, I'm Suman Agarwal. I am the co-founder of Image Consulting Business Institute. I'm starting this new live series with all the image consultants, and my first guest for the day is Benaisha Kharas. Benaisha is world's youngest certified image consultant and mental health consultant. She's a TEDx speaker, a stylist, and a personal branding expert. So let's wait for Benaisha Kharas. Let her send in a request. Hi everyone. Hi Benaisha.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon. How are you?
Thankfully, we connected peacefully and without
Yes.
any complication. I'm
Yes,
glad.
absolutely.
How are you doing?
Absolutely. Very well. How are you?
Absolutely fine. I was getting little jitters because this was the first Insta live, so I was just trying to figure out how to fix the whole thing because this is more scarier than Facebook Live.
No, it's not that scary, but it's all
But
good.
thankfully, we managed. We managed, right?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Absolutely. So, shall we
Great.
start?
Absolutely. I'm ready to begin.
Okay, so my first question to you is that what has been your experience during the current lockdown situation and how has it impacted your life? As you know that this situation is like for everyone, but then what has been your experience during this situation?
So, my experience actually, on contrary to popular belief, has been wonderful.
Oh,
Simply because, I feel like this year has been the year where a lot of people have kind of realized uh, more about themselves than they ever have, simply because they have been locked up. And, everything about themselves has been challenged, whether it's their communication skills, whether it's their interpersonal skills, whether it's anything small or big about them, it has been challenged, of things, trying out new things. So I feel the lockdown period as an image consultant and a mental health therapist has been wonderful, because a lot of people are reaching out to us, and a lot of people are trying to get to know themselves better and are taking this time to enhance themselves a lot more, which is very important, I feel. A lot of times I had clients who would reach out and say, "ठीक है, बाद में करेंगे," because we don't have time right now with our work. And to everyone who's here, all the 78 people and including us, I want to give this food for thought, is that we all actually always had time. It's just that we didn't know how to manage our time. Today, all of us are
absolutely.
cleaning, all of us are cooking, all of us are doing our work, and we're spending time with our family members. So we're doing four things that we always should have been doing, but we were only doing that one thing, which is going to work and providing, and we felt that that in itself was so much. So today, I think the lockdown period is a proven fact to everyone who wants to enhance themselves but stops to do so, that you actually do have the time, and it's very important. And also, a lot of people have been realizing, unfortunately, because of a lot of layoffs that have been happening, many people have started to realize that we might be competent in subject knowledge, but we might not be competent in the way we present ourselves. So a lot of people have been reaching out to me, at least for that purpose, and saying, I want to still be relevant. Today it's all about being relevant, that truly
Oh,
matters.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Completely. In fact, I have realized that there is so much that can be done even at home. I mean, there is so much time that is required to be spent. I mean, even right now, while we are at home, at times I feel that sometimes I'm not able to give enough time to my son, even while I'm sitting at home. So, I mean, when we are not there and when we are working in the office, I mean, whatever limited time we have, I mean, we are just managing things. But here, right now, it's like managing what is more priority,
True.
in terms of what exactly should you do at what time. And of course, the workload has come down to from office to home. So
Right.
that is also work happening simultaneously. So, managing and juggling between work, cooking, cleaning, looking after children, managing to make sure that they spend their time in the most productive way. So that's also something, which we have to really take care of. So
Absolutely,
great.
yes.
My next question to you is that what is a new learning that has emerged during this phase? I mean, all of us have some learning or the other. But
Right.
for you, what has been this new learning that has emerged during this lockdown?
So, for me, I think the new learning has been um, how to
Don't tell me you're
convince.
baking cakes.
No, that I used to do before also. No, my new learning has been actually being a dog mom. If I have to
Oh,
really talk
yeah.
about it, so I have not been. I'm not someone who's really a pet person, to be very honest. But I mean, I've not liked it. I've just not been involved. But on the other hand, my
I was
husband has been
surprised
really.
to see that dog on your profile. I mean, was
Yes.
that a gift or you have
No, so that
consciously
was
decided?
that was actually no, so it was my husband's birthday, and we had a family friend who was having, a litter, and so we kind of adopted for
Oh,
his birthday. So she's a little young girl, a doggy, all of 4 months, and yeah, she came home, and I think I've learned so much in that, and I never knew I could have maternal instincts for even another species. But it's truly been wonderful. So that I have learned on a personal front, and on a work front, I feel like I have learned how to be much more disciplined than I was. I felt I was fairly disciplined, but I've become much more disciplined with myself, simply because I mean, I start work at around 9:30, quarter to 10, and I finish work at the same time. So I'm pretty much having
what
screen
time do you
fatigue
get up in the
also.
morning?
So I usually wake up at 6:30 because chores of being a mother.
Sorry.
So I wake up at 6:30 because of the little pup, and thereafter I try to snooze in for a little bit, but then I wake up eventually, and I think we've lost. Are you there? Are you there, ma'am?
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
you
I'm
hear
here.
me?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I lost you for a bit. All
I
right.
think your connection is slightly weak.
So yeah, so actually, I'm finding that your video is going on repeat. So can you hear me now? Am I audible better?
Yeah. You are constantly like audible.
Okay, great. All right. So so I wake up by 6:30, and thereafter I try to snooze in a little bit if I can, and then start my day around 8. And thereafter I have clients sometimes at 10, sometimes even at 9:30. And then I kind of push it, even sometimes I have clients even later because of my international clients, so different time zones. But all in all, it's a very packed day, and it's exciting because I have various things to do. Some are with mental health clients, some are with image and mental health clients, some are with just image clients, and sometimes they are like talks that I'm doing for various schools, colleges, women's associations. And then in the middle, of course, being an image consultant, we have our fun videos that we make with our beautiful clothes to show people how to dress
Absolutely.
up. So there's a lot of stuff that keeps going on, and I feel like discipline is very integral part in such a time, especially when you can be diverted with so many different things.
True. Absolutely. So, Benaisha, everybody has been talking about this new normal, post COVID-19, post this pandemic. So, how do you think that is going to affect you professionally? Because everybody is saying that new normal is going to be different, and this is the new normal, technology is the new normal. So, how is it going to be different for you professionally?
So frankly speaking, for me, this has always been my normal. I've been someone who's extremely into tech, been someone who's been using Zoom before a lot of people found Zoom. So for me, it's been very normal, frankly speaking. But I'm actually really liking this new normal. it kind of gives me more comfort to process, to pace out various things. A lot of my clients who earlier were apprehensive of online trainings, etc., have now taken to it as well. And they have understood how easy it is and how fun it is even for them. So, I feel like, based on my end and with certain clients that I've got in touch with, it's kind of easing through. But there are certain other places, certain other arenas where people are still very apprehensive, such as shopping. Certain people still want to go to the malls and shop, versus online shopping has been here since so long. But yeah, there are certain aspects that can be done and certain aspects that cannot. However, I feel like at least our industry is very pliable, very amicable to the new change. So I feel it's all good from here.
For us, it has been a revelation. For people like us
Absolutely.
who were not at all into technology, and Zoom is like a new thing for all of us. But now,
Yes.
I mean, we feel that the world has become so small by using this technology. I mean, it has become such a convenient option. I mean, our physical meetings that used to happen, everything has shifted to online. So the whole world has become like a small space where, everybody's become so close knit and everybody interacts with each other. So that's something which has really been a great evolution, I would say, for all of us, because we really feel so comfortable now. And
Right.
you will not believe that I had Zoom connection for almost 2 years, which I never used,
I
because I was
know
always
that.
scared of using technology. And I even this Instagram live, I mean, this I have been thinking since years, but then finally we managed to do it because of the lockdown, because we cannot have the physical
Yes.
interview series, right? So
Absolutely.
great.
Yes.
And you have actively been working in the field of mental health. What
Yes.
inspired you to work in this direction? I mean, you have always been talking about mental health, and people know you because you promote mental health strongly. So, what has been your motivation to work in this direction?
So, ma'am, as you know, and maybe some of our viewers here would know that I've been someone who has needed a mental health therapist while growing up. So I've been someone who has been to a lot of remedials, who has been to a lot of counseling sessions myself, and I needed assistance and help as a child for my learning disabilities, and wherein there were many moments wherein I have been I've been treated differently, and I have been categorized differently for having a certain problem but being categorized for a very different problem. So I felt that that kind of pain stayed on with me, and a lot of people looked at me in a very different light, and that made me personally look at myself in a very different light. I did not have any self image, and forget body image or anything. I had nothing. I had no image of myself. So wherein I felt that this pain really made me want to be a person who can help somebody, who can help my younger self. And that's what really inspired me to take up the subject of psychology and sociology and pursue it, and thereafter graduate in the subject, do various studies on it, and finally get an approval and certification to go ahead and do so. And I kind of married the two, because I felt that image and mental health are so connected that one without the function. I felt very fortunate that I had found one, and I was doing one, and then when I found image management, it was just the perfect marriage. So today I'm a happy person.
So, tell me, this is just an extension of this same question, that at what age were you discovered as a dyslexic child?
I was in fourth grade, so that's around 10, 8, 9, 10. I was 10 years old. I was in fourth standard. I vividly remember my standard. I think I was 10 years old, and no, I don't think I was in. I don't think I was. Yeah, it was fourth grade. It was fourth grade that I was going to fail, and that's when my first IQ test that happened, and then ever since then I've had like a dozen tests that have happened.
Okay. So what are the 3 common reasons why people suffer with poor mental health, and what are the best ways to overcome them according to you?
So the first and the most famous one is log kya kahenge. everyone is worried about what will people see. The other thing is lack of self image, lack of acceptance of themselves is also a very important factor. So I feel these three are very important, because today when I work with my clients and I kind of explain them the process of rediscovering and rejuvenation, the first step here is about self acceptance. Today, even when as a young girl, when I started off, I had to accept the fact that my age was a factor. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's a different thing, but I had to accept that at the age of 19, no one who's had 19 years of experience is going to hire me. So I had to streamline and work around with places and people who actually needed that service and advice. Even today, as a consultant, after 8-9 years of being in the industry, there are certain things I'm good at and there's certain things I'm not so great at. So I could have the ability and the knowledge of performing in a corporate scenario, but my heart and skill sets and my passion doesn't align with the same. So how efficient I would be with women, children, NGOs, other groups of individuals would be very different. My passion levels would be very different. And I have to accept that that works for me and the other doesn't. So I feel a lot of times people brood jealousy, anger, resentment because they don't have lack of acceptance. Today, when I accept that somebody else can be better than me, somebody else can do something better, and while I am competent in certain other things, I have already made peace with myself. I have already understood, and I'm focusing here on what works for me rather than what doesn't work for me. A lot of
I
times,
think, Benaisha, I have
yes, ma'am.
always found you to be very stable and very secure person. I have never found you to be very insecure about things, or somebody's coming has really shaken you up or something like that. So I have never seen that part of you, and you've always been very stable and very sensible in your head. So is this the reason why you are like this?
Yes, thank you for noticing and saying that. But yes, because I feel that everyone today has to have a piece of the pie, which is why they are here at the table, right? Today, if there are many, I mean, I think I would have stopped. I would have not even taught at ICBI had I been insecure of other image consultants coming forward. I would have definitely not made new programs to push image management as an industry forward. My simple logic here is that today, if I'm starting new and there are 100 other people who are interested in the same thing, why not take them along and go? Why should I push them back and say, no, let me just be the first person in it, or let me, because today one person walking and saying, hey, I'm an image consultant and I'm a mental health therapist, no one's going to notice me. Even though I might have all the resources or anything, no one's going to notice me. But 100 of us together will just create a better noise, will create a better force. So I feel today, when there are many doctors, a doctor supports another doctor. So I think there needs to be support, there needs to be that push, there needs to be that encouragement. And jealousy has never done anything for anyone, so why indulge in it? And yes, this is my main reason for not being jealous or not being competitive in the wrong scenario. I'm very competitive as a person. I want to do the best that I can through my own ability. But if somebody else is doing it, I will not say that that is bad. I will just accept that that is different and what I am doing is different. Because if the same idea came to both of us, great. If a different idea came to either of us, that's also wonderful. So I feel that today a lot of people have mental health issues, and a mental health issue does not need to be depression for all the 100 people that are here, because a lot of people think that mental health matlab depression hai to mental health problem hai. But your mental health problem starts when you start body shaming, when you start telling yourself I'm not good enough, when you say I have lack of self confidence, when you say that I don't look good, so no one's going to love me. These are small signs of starting your confidence level shattering, is your mental health saying, help me.
True, absolutely. I totally agree with this. So, how do you bring synergy between image consulting and mental well-being?
So they are ultimately two different industries coming to deriving one point, which is making a person making a person sustain on their own emotions, making somebody trust themselves and rely themselves that whatever they've decided for themselves is a good thing, is a good decision. So, image management says that the way you look affects the way you think, and the way you think affects the way you act, and the way you act affects the way you behave and get responses and reactions. The mental health space here starts and says that first you need to love yourself in order to be providing for other people any love or affection. If you don't love and respect yourself, you cannot expect any other love and respect from somebody else. Today, as as an associate of your company, if I keep on criticizing, I've done the whole program, I've done everything, but I constantly am someone who keeps on criticizing and saying no, but I don't think this will work for me, but I don't think that will work for me, without even understanding the process, then it's my problem, then it's my choice. You cannot help me in any factor in that sensibility. Same way, when an image consultant, I cannot go to somebody and say that you need my assistance, you need to dress better, you need to look better, you need to do this. It's something that has to be initiated from the client. So there are many such similarities which come together. And as a consultant for both, what I hear work with somebody's attire and somebody's attitude. So today I cannot dress somebody up and have a very rude attitude, or I cannot have somebody who have a good attitude, but at the same time does not package themselves well, because their goodness will not be reflected. And sometimes the external goodness cannot be internal wellness. So both these two coming together was of both these two. What used to happen was that that's when it struck me that you need to be beautiful inside and out. And that's the reason for the marriage of these two.
And do you ever come across any single client who needs both solutions in both, like mental health also and image consulting also?
Ma'am, actually 90% of my clientele is both. And in fact, a lot of people come by saying they just need image management. But actually, with my first session with them, when I do my analysis with them, I realize that what they first need is an internal cleansing, and then I can externally cleanse them. And for that, I need to use my, my tools of psychology to understand and to get them to talk in various ways. So a lot of times, people just come and say, oh, I just need to learn how to dress better. And I say, all right. And, I start talking to them about dressing specifically. And then I understand that what they're really worried about is, log kya kahenge, or I don't look good, or my husband or my wife thinks I need to do better. And then the story starts that why does this need to happen? So I don't think I've met a single person who is, I do meet a lot of people who only come to me for mental health, right? But the ones who do come to me for image, yes, of course, there have been times where people only take on my image services, such as personal shopping and wardrobe building and, just wardrobe analysis and cluster, etc. So those are people there. But then after a few months or after a few years, they probably just do a mental health session with me as well.
So can you narrate any interesting story or incident with any of the client who has been through this process with you?
I'll take a recent one. So she came to me for body language, communication skills, etc. That was her email to me. And when I was doing communication skills is when we kind of understood that how she communicates with her spouse and her children actually comes from how she was communicated with as a child. And today, even when I'm telling her that this is the better way to communicate with somebody, her questions were, but why? But I was never spoken to like that. Or how does this matter? How does this affect? Like, I grew up like this. So it became very defensive, to wherein I paused and I said, instead of me giving her advice on what's right, let me understand what's not working for her. Now, that's something as a psychologist you can kind of understand, rather than being more defiant and saying, no, 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 but what I'm saying is right, what I'm saying is right, this is as per the theory, this is what you have to do. And I realized that she didn't even understand that her tone, her choice of words, and the pauses that she was using in a sentence were because of how her parents had spoken with her. Her parents did not know how to do that, and she thought that was the way forward. Now, the same thing, she was doing it with her new family as well as work. So the reason she initially came to me was because she was in line for promotion before the lockdown happened, and she's an international client. Before the lockdown had happened, and then everything stalled, and thereafter now her promotion will be due or not due depending on how she is. So she wanted to take this time to quickly learn a few things that she can kind of put the best foot forward. And I had to go back and explain to her the initial logic of communication as a child. I had to explain to her when I had to literally be her parent to parent better. So because she had two young children and she was communicating with them very brashly, and she thought that was fine, but they were responding differently because they have been growing in a different country. They have been growing with a different international environment and not an Indian environment. So there were many things that culminated together, which we had to go back to her childhood. And thereafter, I had to do the communication again with her for her to make sense of it.
Fantastic.
So just a snippet of it.
Okay. So tell me, Benaisha, how has it been beneficial for you to become an entrepreneur at a young age? And at what kind of benefits are you enjoying at this moment?
So earlier this morning only, I was having a chat with somebody, and they asked me a fairly similar thing. And the first thing that came to my mind was what Mr. Agarwal had told me 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, he told me that we've had no consultant who has been this young. But if you decide to take on this journey, 10 years later, you will still be the first person. And that was the most exciting thing for me. And it's something that nobody can take that away from me, no matter what they do. I'd still be the first person who decided to venture onto this field. And for me, that was like 10 years ago as a teenager, that was the biggest batch I could have. And today, the benefits that I do reap from it is I've got 8 years more time to make mistakes. I could decide what works for me and what doesn't. I did not have the pressure of marriage, children, and I could actually focus on something that I'm passionate and I wanted to work towards it. So as a young person, as a young individual then, I felt that it was scary. It was something that, made me think a lot of times, should I do this? Am I right? Am I doing it right? What's wrong? Blah, 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 everything. There were times that I even thought to myself that should I stop? Should I do something else? Maybe I'm not good at it. But literally after 10 minutes, I was like, no. I'm right on track. I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it happen. What I feel a lot of times, young people who on Instagram who write to me, and that I every day get at least 2 messages of girls or boys who have written to me saying, I want to be an image consultant like you and tell me what to do. And I keep on saying that if you're only passionate about it, then you're going to really make it happen. You're going to really struggle for it. Because when you want to be an entrepreneur, things are not easy. The second thing that Mr. Agarwal also said in one of the times that I've spoken to him is that one is to be an entrepreneur and one is to be a trainer. There are 2 different things. And trainer is knowing the subject and working as a freelancer. But being an entrepreneur is a whole different ballgame. You need to be able to sustain yourself even when you go on holidays. That's an entrepreneur. So I actually had to find out models and ways of doing that, where I am taking a holiday can somebody else do the job for me, and can I still make money out of it, and can I still sustain my livelihood? So I feel that I got a lot of chances to make mistakes. I got a lot of chances to understand the process and define what works for me and what doesn't. And I'm not really sure if, see, for me, I've never been older than I was when I started, so I can't really talk for somebody who's older and does it work or does it not. But I feel that if you are young and you're just wanting to get in an entrepreneurial venture because it's cool, then you're going to be a big fool, because it's a lot of work, and the same amount of work you'll have to put even when you're 30 and 40. So for me, it's been challenging, it's been exciting, but it's been truly fulfilling. There is never a day where I look back and say this was a big mistake. Never, just never. And I'm very proud of, saying that image consulting really today made me the individual that I was born to be. And I don't feel like I was supposed to do anything else besides what I'm doing.
And I clearly remember the time when you had come for admission, and I told Mr. Agarwal, I said, please don't take her because she's too small and she will not be able to understand anything in the class. And I also remember the fact that when you were there in the class with all the other elderly women who were there, who were comparatively elder than you, and you were the one who was actually helping everybody with the assignments, right?
That's right.
So my perception about you was totally different at that point of time. And I always thought that, you will not be able to cope up with the certification and with the processes and things like that. And you've turned out to be one of the most dynamic image consultants out of all the people who are there. So hats off to you, Benaisha.
But it's been, I must tell everyone who's listening to this, I always jokingly say this to you, that you're my work mother. But had it not been for you and Mr. Agarwal, I don't think I would have so much ignition within me to keep it going. Because, I think y'all have also taught me, because I'm in such awe of y'all that I never want to say no to y'all. So whenever y'all have snowballed a new project to me in my earlier days, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do it? I still very vividly remember my first training. I always told you I'll never train and I'll only do individual consultation. And I still remember your look, and you said, okay, we'll see. And then you called me up one day after my certification. You're like, okay, so are you free on 15, 16, 17th? I remember the dates. And I'm like, yes, ma'am, I'm free. Okay, good. You're going to Chandigarh. That's what you told me. And I was on the next flight to Chandigarh doing training for, again, senior women and very accomplished women. And that was a bold batch, I remember training. And I was 20. And thereafter, I had an interview which you had lined up for me at, one of the, I think it was NDTV or something. There was an art, Hindustan Times. And I spoke to over 200 people in that place. And I really don't know how that happened. But thank you for that, push. That was very important. And I feel that a lot of people today don't get that push. So thank you.
So from Chandigarh to Abu Dhabi. Now, can
yes,
you share
to
that?
New York now, ma'am. To New York.
Oh, New York. Oh, wow. So can you share that experience also with us? Some international experience?
Yeah. So actually, my international experience was, again, I just took on to it. I'm someone who wants to try to, again, do many firsts. So I remember I was, my aunt, actually, she was the one, my Masi, she was the one who kind of made it happen for me. So I was just casually telling her what I do and how I would like to work and things of that sort. And she used to stay in Doha. So she said, okay, let me figure how this could work for you. And I'd made like a whole proposal and everything, and I pitched it. And it got approved. Like, it just got approved. And there was, I had so many apprehensions about why it wouldn't get approved and what would they do, especially because Doha is it's not like Dubai and Abu. It's not like the UAE. It's still a little more conservative on various aspects. And again, I was young, right? And I still remember that it happened. And thereafter that, just the next day, I got featured in Gulf News for image management. And, it was a full page article. And I still remember messaging you and sir saying, "Sir, check this out."
Yes.
And he was just like so shocked. He was like, "What happened and how did
We almost celebrated over here.
I mean, it was great, and it was the first time ever that somebody had heard about image consulting in Doha. And after that, the amount of emails that I got from people saying, okay, then because of that article, impromptu, just because I was in the city for 1-2 more days, I got a call saying that let's do a session for the Women's Association. So it just happened so fast. That is how it really began. I just said, how bad can it be? And that's how I start most of my projects. I say, I've been rejected so many times in life that it doesn't feel like a rejection. It just feels like an opportunity. Okay, next time it'll happen. So I just sent out an email. And then the second time over too, when I started my retail project in Dubai, I sent out a Facebook request to the owner directly, because I just felt that, working from up to down works easier than going from down to up. Down to up kind of just says, "Ha, hoga," we're checking on, etc. So I just said, let me write to the head, and how bad can it be? He won't reply. He replied in 5 minutes. He replied
wow.
in 5 minutes, saying, please get in touch with this person and CC me on it on this mail. So obviously he wasn't someone who was looking into it. But then when you write an email and tell, I have been recommended by your boss, your email just goes faster. That's another trick that I learned when I tried this out. And then from there, it's just been word of mouth. I feel like my clients today have made me the person I am, because they found value in anything that I did for them, and they have then recommended me to people, and they've also gone out of their way to help me out to grow. So that's been wonderful. And New York was because obviously I moved to New York last year for a short while with my husband, and I met so many women at all these galas that I went for, and some women who just walked by at the store of ours. And I conducted a lot of sessions there as well, some complimentary sessions for people to understand what image was. And for them, it was very, I remember 2-3 American women actually saying that, oh, we didn't know that Indians went to image consulting too. So that was a funny thing. And I actually pulled up the ICBI website to show it to her as to how many image consultants. She was aghast. She's like, oh my God, I just thought it was a thing of the West. And so that's been a good experience.
Fantastic. So what are the 3 most significant areas that you would like to focus on in the image consulting space?
So is this question depending on the subject topic wise, or just anything?
Anything.
So I'm someone who focuses a lot on self-confidence and self-appreciation. I also focus a lot on color, as you know. I love color, and I feel like color is such a game changer for so many people. It psychologically makes you a happy person instantly, or a sad person instantly, or it just changes your mood. So I feel like the tools of color and personal style are something which I really hold close, and I kind of keep on plugging them in any of my conversations, because I truly have seen how it has worked for me. And I'm a firm believer of not endorsing anything that I haven't tried out, because I'm in the business of people, and you can't fool people, and you shouldn't fool people, because you will get slammed sometime or the other. So it's very important to first try everything out on yourself. If it doesn't work for you, then just don't recommend it to people. So I feel like self-image and self-acceptance, and then comes color and personal style, which has been really important. And another aspect which I've been really forward for since the last 1.5 to almost 2 years is plugging in the cluster concept that we do as consultants in the aspect of reuse, recycle, and rewear. Because today a lot of people, especially on Instagram, a lot of times people feel that, oh, we need to keep it repeating we need to buy new clothes, we can't repeat our clothes because it's already on the Instagram, it's already on the gram, cannot do it, all of that. And I encourage a lot of rewear on my profile itself, and I show people how many times I have worn it. And I feel today that has made a lot of people eased out on, just constantly buying new things. And people have this misconception that image consultants are only going to make us shop more. And I want to change that. No, we're not here to make you shop more. We're here to kind of help you understand how you can shop in your closet. And at the same time, if you need certain things to throw away, how can you do that? As well as buy new things that you need. So the need and the want is also something which is very,
True.
very important. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Benaisha, tell me, how have you personally evolved after becoming an image consultant?
You answer that, ma'am.
I want the answer from you.
So I feel I have evolved. I feel like I've considerably evolved as a person. I think from this
I
young
think you have grown up in front of us. So, evolution, the journey of evolution, you have to share with us. We
So
can
I
share
feel
the journey of you growing up in front of us.
so I feel I feel that for me, I remember walking into the space of image management, ICBI, all of that, as a very, as not someone who was naive, but as someone who was complex. I was a complex teenager like anyone who had her own self-doubt, self-image issues, who was very underconfident. I felt like no one in the world loved me. And I felt all of these things, including my parents. I used to feel like that. And I learned many things. And I always tell this to everyone who even wants to join the course or who's asking me about image, and they say that, but what if I don't do anything with image management? What if I take up a new career? And I always tell them this: there is never a time that you will not use these skills. I remember from my very first session, which was Mr. Agarwal's session, then your session, Sham sir's session, which give us an insight on life, which gave us an insight on how we evolve as individuals, how we choose different things, whether it's clothes, whether it's mannerisms, whether it's everything. And I felt that it was a very important skill set that I learned in my whole 1 year of the course, because when I did the course many years ago, it was a different way of functioning that we functioned. And the whole 1 year, I was my own project. And I told myself that if I really start to be the change and others notice this change and others associate with this change, I will then be a successful image consultant. And there were many things that I learned, from moving from jeans to pants, moving from t-shirts to blouses, moving upward, understanding the art of accessorizing correctly, understanding the need for certain things and not of certain things. And this was a very crucial time, because it was my last year of my graduation. So I was also doing I was I mean, that was a very hard year for me study wise, but it was a very important year because it made me the woman I am today. It taught me life skills. Image management taught me life skills, and my psychotherapy taught me attitude management. And together, they have made me the person I am today. So, however I respond to things is because of the subject that I studied over a period of 1 year. And as I keep on, as I keep on reading my books again, or interacting with everyone at the institute and teaching more people, I have only evolved, and I have started to realize what doesn't work and what works. So both things I've realized, but that is a part of evolution. So I feel like I have evolved, and I hope that reflects to people who have been there for all these years.
So you have been very active in the space of social work,
Yes.
So I would like to know that how are you contributing towards making this society a better place to live?
So
That's something I think that's very close to your heart.
it is. So my first project was in the Dharavi slum, which I felt that being an image consultant for women in the slum was very challenging, because my Hindi is something to be challenged. And at the same time, I felt that, you know, how can I use the concept of image management for women who don't have the resources really. But that's when I understood that, you know, a lot can be done. They need to be empowered with the correct education and the knowledge. So that's how my journey started officially. However, prior to that, I used to during my schooling days and college days, I used to teach at an orphanage. So that's where my first social act started, and empathy struck me then. And that was the first assignment that I did as a person, wherein I taught the orphans. I understood their thought process, their psychology. Because of my studies, I had to interview people who were suicidal, who had you know, various other mental disorders. So that got me thinking as well. I did a project for I did a project in Kamatipura that today makes me want to work with many you know, sex workers that I work with. I also work in the criminal cell for rehabilitation of rape victims that get trafficked, raped and trafficked victims. So these are the areas that I work as an image and a mental health therapist. Because I feel that, and when I say image, it's not just about looking good with them. It's about how to feel good and their mannerisms. So in this aspect of image, I work on their soft skills bit. I work on their body language, their communication, their interpersonal skills with one another that they're staying with, because they're obviously staying with a lot of victims around. They're staying with a lot of different stories around, which can be very overwhelming for them. They all come from different age groups. They don't know their age. They don't know some of where they've been. Some of them have been trafficked as young as 4. So they've never been in one place ever. So most of them, and none of them actually have passports, so they don't know their origin. They don't have a birth certificate. A lot of them have different names, so they have identity crisis. And I also work in the area of so the women at Kamatipura, the children that they have, me and a couple of other volunteers, we actually educate those children. So we are parents to those children, and which here can be through funding and through time. So I try to do both as much as I can. And I'm also a part of a group called Live to Give, which is it's a WhatsApp group that we have, but it's a huge, large group that we have across India. And recently and right now, we are helping the the migrants kind of go back to their places. And otherwise, we also like I'm a counselor on call with them, and I've done image and dining etiquette workshops for the blind from that association of mine. And I do many other such workshops for blind, deaf, handicapped. Yeah, so this is how we bring the world of image to all these individuals. And yes, most importantly, but not the least, is my mentally challenged adults. So they are my children that I've been been a mother to since over 10 years now, with an NGO, as well as individually. I have individual clients who have been my clients over 3-4 years, that I work on their there are borderline cases that I have who are not Down syndrome exactly, but they're not completely, they have a neurological problem. So I work with them on their mannerisms, their etiquette, most especially, so they don't become an embarrassment to their families when they're going out. So yeah, so this is
fantastic. This must be so fulfilling, no, Benaisha?
Absolutely. This is something what gets me going, and I feel by the time I'm 40, I'm going to stop running in this race. And my dream is to make an orphanage, and fortunately, even my mother-in-law's thoughts are the same on making an orphanage as well as an old age home together, because they're the two parts of one's journey that they need to be together. The babies don't have parents, and the parents don't have children. So it's a nice place that they can be together, and I'm hoping that one fine day I can build that and add value to it.
Oh, absolutely. So the last question that we arrive at is that as a youth icon, what is the message that you would like to give to the like-minded people who are looking up for an inspiration from you?
So I would here say that, behavior is sometimes greater than knowledge. This is something that I've said earlier as well at certain conferences, that behavior is greater than knowledge, because in life there are many situations wherein your knowledge cannot help you. Definitely help you out of it. And this has really worked for me as someone who started young, because there were many times in my life I did not have the knowledge, I did not have the skill sets, I did not have the acumen to be competent for a particular task. But I did have behavior. So I was polite, I was calm, I was gentle, I was patient with people, and I felt that that behavior got me the opportunity more than the knowledge. People gave me a chance because of my behavior, not because of my knowledge. And today I still continue to do that, because there are many things in life that I don't know. So, but my behavior is very important. Today, if there's something I don't know, like in class, when people ask you, what is this? You must be knowing, because you've been in this industry since so many years. You should know. I mean, that kind of pressure that sometimes you get, and to which I have to say, I'm sorry, even though I might be teaching in so many classes, I'm not really sure about this, this smart question that you have asked. So let me get back to you. And I think today people appreciate that kind of acknowledgement that you don't know, okay, and that you will get back to them. But I feel like a lot of times, young people say, yeah, I know everything, I'll figure it out. And you just know, I know everything. I think that is the biggest villain of my generation.
I think personally, Benaisha, if you ask me honestly, I've never said this to you, but in our opinion, I mean, you have been a very well sorted individual who's always in control, very grounded, never ever arrogant. Sometimes you are sarcastic with people, I know that. But at the same time, you are a fun to be with. So that's one thing that has always been a great inspiration that people draw from you for this thing. And the way you carry yourself, the way your demeanor is. So everything about you is like simply fantastic. So that is what I think
Thank you,
people love about you, and we love you a lot. So that is something
Thank
which
you.
I
Likewise.
always wanted to tell this,
Thank you.
because you are an inspiration
That
for
means
so many people.
a lot coming from you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And all the very best to you. If
Thank
there's
you, ma'am.
anything
Thank you
that we
very
can do
much.
for you, we are always just a phone call away. You know that.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Right.
Thank you
So,
for having me here on your first series, and looking forward to all the others that are coming up.
absolutely, absolutely. So, all of you, all people who are watching and who have been on this live session throughout, thank you so much. We will be coming next Wednesday once again. So, stay tuned. Until then, this is Benaisha and me, Suman Agarwal. We are signing off. So, goodbye to each and every one of you. Benaisha, thank you and bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye bye. Have a good day.